This year will be my 11th year buying ads for brands on Black Friday, running meta ads on Black Friday, doing creative for meta ads on Black Friday, all parts of it. I have had brands that have spent $1,000 on Black Friday, very small, newer brands. I've had brands that have spent $1 million just on Black Friday and everything in between. And so I'm going to tell you exactly what I've learned and how I'm preparing this year to set my brands up for success, what I think you should do too. Let's get into it. I've got a list of 7 things you should be doing this year at Black Friday to maximize the moment, specifically on meta ads. Let's start at number 1 as creative, okay? Creative for Black Friday, Cyber Monday is, and for the whole holiday season, the key thing here is basically just to not overthink it. If I was going to allocate creative energy, in fact, I am allocating creative energy for my own clients towards what I think is going to create the biggest opportunity, my approach to actual Black Friday specific, holiday specific ads in the way you traditionally think of them, in terms of just like promoting a sale, promoting an offer, that energy is going to be relatively straightforward, simple, and there frankly won't be that much of it in the grand scheme of things relative to where to put my other time. What I mean is I'm going to put up ads that say in big letters, get 50% off or whatever it is, and have the brand and a photo of the product. And I'm going to find a bunch of ways to have simple video and clear stills showing those two, that basic thing. Stills, simple video showing that basic thing. Just like, here's what the offer is. Here's why you should get it right now. This deal will end soon. And that's it. And every other way I have tried to go and make like really clever Black Friday ads or whatever it is has just never been nearly as valuable as just really straightforward and clear. And it's because it's such a shopping moment. Customers want deals. And for a large portion of your spend, you should recognize that a huge number of people who you have talked to throughout the year, who have been aware of your brand throughout the year, or even who are just new to your brand but are excited about the product in that time, anywhere on that spectrum of awareness of your brand, they want deals during Black Friday. They want a reason to buy now, and that is what your big offer is giving them. Convey the urgency, tell them that the deal's going away, etc. But that's it pretty much. I would just basically make a good number of those between, 5 and 30 of them, depending on how big your brand is, how much you're spending. You want some diversity of visuals in there just so you have some different looks, etc. Some more socially native stuff, some more design stuff, but don't kill yourself on this. Really straightforward, clearly promote the deal. That is enough reason for people to buy. And those ads will print. They will do well. They will reach far as a part of your ad spend. And what all of this implies is that something else is going on at the same time, which is that every single year I see brands where actually those ads get very little of their spend. I mean, I see plenty of brands where those ads get a lot of their spend, and it's really hard to predict which is going to be which. But there are brands where no matter what we do on the sort of creative side for making more holiday focused, offer focused ads, we end up spending a ton of our money on our evergreen ads because those evergreen ads still work. They're still generating high amounts of engagement and high conversion rates and all those things. And therefore, as they go out into the world during the most competitive time of the year, if they're good ads, they're still good ads. And people are going to be interested in them because not everything they're looking at on their feed is a Black Friday offer right away. And they'll click and they'll discover, hey, look, this brand has their Black Friday sale, and that's great. So just expect that even on the heart of the sale, like the main days, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that your evergreen ads will work. Nothing is broken if most of your spend goes there. That's just fine. And so that means that what I would actually do is think about how do you make more great quality evergreen ads as part of this all the time, because they are going to represent a significant portion of your spend in the holiday moments. So the magic on Black Friday and the way to win the moment is not going to have very much to do with creative, I don't think. Now, the exception to that, I should clarify, is not going to have very much to do with Black Friday specific creative. Okay, it's going to be about your total creative approach. It's going to more generally, it's going to have more to do with your offer and your brand and your seasonality in general. And the one thing I'll say here is that if you have a particular reason a customer ought to buy now that is unique to your brand and the seasonality of the moment, you should definitely also express that in your ads, okay? Any reason somebody ought to buy right now and not later that makes sense for the customer, besides just the sale, right? If there's something seasonal about your product, the extreme example would be like a Christmas tree farm, okay? So then you should also, of course, express that why they ought to buy. They're time limited thing right now. But otherwise, just promote the offer. That's number one. Okay. Number two, let's talk about media buying and the account approach. I have said a lot that I run almost all of our spend, 98% of it or something like that, on manual bids. That's a mix of bid caps and target ROAS ads. I'm going to talk more about target ROAS ads in just a second. But this is the hardest part about Black Friday media buying, and really the hardest part about manual bids in general, is getting this right. Because if you think about what manual bids do, what they do is they use recent performance, including particularly recent conversion rate performance, to inform their forecast of how much they can deliver their ads. If Meta has to calculate a CAC above which it does not want to bid, which is what a bid cap is, for your customers, or if it has to calculate a target return on your ad spend, which is what a target ROAS is, an average in that case, right? It has to forecast a conversion rate. And in the case of target ROAS, it has to forecast an average order value as well. In both cases, the challenge is that you're, particularly for Black Friday, and then that whole weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the conversion rate changes radically day to day, before, during, and directly after your sale moments. And those change fast and in a way that is irrespective of previous performance, right? So conversion rate is probably going to at least double on Black Friday for your brand. And there's just no way for a probabilistic machine to anticipate that when the clock strikes 12, the conversion rate is going to double, unless that's built into, now there is a way if Meta engineers have put their thumb on the scale of how the eCVR calculation works, but I don't know that there's any evidence that's the case. And that means that if you don't want to miss out on volume, you need to proactively adjust your bid cap up. So your bids need to get higher and more aggressive, and you need to adjust your target ROAS down. So again, your bids get more aggressive. Now, the problem with that is simple, which is that at some point Meta will adjust. And in fact, if you're at enough volume, Meta will be getting so many conversions per day that in fact it can adjust pretty quickly, especially if you have a consolidated ad account approach. So if you're getting 50 or 100 conversions within a few hours, which is very possible for a lot of brands, right? And sometimes even less than a few hours, then Meta will update its eCVR pretty quickly. And now you need to proactively adjust your manual bid back to that. There is a cat and mouse game here. This is where you want to be careful with your budget and not do the sort of endless open inflated budget thing without any controls on it. It's really tricky. What I'm actually going to do instead of doing a whole bunch more on this here is point you to two other episodes I've done where I've dived deeper into this. Okay. And that is an episode about specifically about the most difficult things about running manual bids. And then another one is an older conversation I had with Cody Plofker about this issue, where we talked about this after Black Friday one year, as we were sort of just sort of recapping it and all that. So both of those episodes are linked in the show notes. Go get both of those. I go into more detail on this for manual bids. And even if you're not a manual bidder, you've got the same problem with auto bids, which is where exactly do you set your budget? It's really hard because you got to figure out to some degree how much volume you think you can get. And so that can be a challenge as well. So anyway, make sure though that you are thinking proactively about this. It's tricky. If you're running manual bids, you will lose volume if you are not proactive. And the same problem happens on the back end, by the way, which is that as soon as Cyber Monday ends, you know what's going to happen, right? Suddenly, when Cyber Monday ends, the conversion rate will plummet. And so you have the same problem in the opposite direction, which means you need to make your bids more conservative and not more aggressive. And you need to do that proactively or you'll blow a bunch of money. So it's challenging and you got to stay on it and it's important, but watch carefully. At some point, your bids will dial back in and they'll be a great tool. And in fact, I still think it's worth doing because manual bids in these situations, in my view, can scale much faster and yet more safely than auto bids, where you're really doing a lot of guesswork about how much volume is there and available. But manual bids can go really far, really fast. And I've seen them do an amazing job at holiday moments before because of this, but you got to watch them really closely. Go check out those other episodes. And while you're at it, subscribe to this channel. If you like this episode, you are going to like a lot of my content. So subscribe to this channel while you're at it. Leave a comment if you have a question about this. Also, I would love to hear from you about that question and you can handle it. Okay. When you think about your customers who have had the most success with, for you as the CEO of FERMAT, when you think about your customers who have had the most success with the platform, what do they do to really win big by using FERMAT?
I think that the behavior that I've observed of the people who get the most benefit from working with us is they do two things. The first is they internalize that this is a different shopping experience. And so they take advantage of the fact that they can like change every part of the journey. So like the inverse of that is like, I want to replicate my current landing page. Like if you want to replicate your current landing page, just don't do anything. Like, don't just keep your current landing page. You know what I mean? And that's okay, right? I'm not judging that. I'm simply suggesting that that's like a fail case. And so it's like, instead, if it's like, hey, I want to actually make every part of this journey unique to this particular situation, new product launch, new audience discovery, new channel, that is like where you are going to get the biggest amount of benefit. And so that is where we see the best outcomes. And then the places where I get surprised is like people start to create experiences that I just would not have imagined. So like, I remember at some point, there's a beauty company that we work with, and I saw the experience that they built, and I was like, that's so strange. Like they combined different module types that we had to like tell the to like tell the product story in a certain way. And I did not understand why they were doing that. And it turns out that what they were doing is intentionally putting different collections in a certain order as you browsed through the experience in order to see where people would stop and start to actually engage in the products inside of that collection in particular, to see what actually drove people from that ad into different collections. Because again, on their site, they can't change the order of the collections. Like your collections are your collections. And I just would not have expected that. And so like we start to see behavior like that. And I'm like, okay, this is like amazing.
That's Rishabh Jain, the CEO of FERMAT, telling it to you from his own voice, what I've experienced as somebody who has been a customer of FERMAT with clients of mine and seen real results. Go check out FERMAT yourself by going to fermatcommerce.com/AF, fermatcommerce.com/AF to get started with FERMAT today. The link for that is also in the show notes of this episode. Thanks, Rishabh. Number 3, you should use value optimization. And I've beat this drum a bunch of times. Again, this is something you can go back into my archives and find episodes about. But if you are not running any value optimized ads, if all you're running is lowest cost ads, you are for sure missing out. And on moments like this, they really help you maximize the volume that you're getting. Just as a reminder, right, a value optimized ad, or which is what a target ROAS ad is going to target the highest value customer, not just the lowest CAC. And customers who are going to spend more are going to cost more in CAC. And so you can get a 2-to-1 ROAS on a customer who's going to spend $200, where your CAC will be 100, right? But a 2-to-1 ROAS on a customer who spends $100, the CAC would be 50. And if you just run, both of those customers exist, and they're out there for you to go get. And if you just run lowest cost or highest volume ads, as it's called now, whether that's an auto bid or with a bid cap or a cost cap, in any of those cases, you are going to get a bunch of the $50 customers and leave the $100 customers on the table, because Meta is going to go for lower CAC customers, especially if you have a wide range of AOVs in your product set. This matters less probably if you don't, although I've actually seen it there too, even for brands that don't have a wide range of SKUs. They end up getting different CPMs. Target ROAS ads, again, I'm not going to go through the whole strategy here. You can go find other content of mine about, just search target ROAS or highest value in my archives and you'll find stuff. But yeah, that's definitely something that's really important. And I would add to this that just as like another note about your use of lowest cost and highest value ads. And again, I would run those as manual bids. So it'd be bid caps and target ROAS versions of that. I would be also optimizing those for 1-day clicks specifically on your Black Friday ads, because you want customers for your sale ads in particular, you want customers who are going to click and buy right now, especially on Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. You are not looking for a 7-day click optimization. You're not looking for customers who are going to think about it for 6 days. You are looking for customers who are going to buy right now. So run a 1-day click optimization on those ads, and it should help. Okay. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4, expect a large increase in delayed purchase behavior leading into these moments. Okay. And the basic idea is very simple, and it comes down to very simple customer behaviors at these moments. And it's like this, okay? I always use this example. I've used it every year, but there was one year where I was looking into buying a new pair of weightlifting shoes. And I was looking into buying them on like October 20th. That's not the kind of purchase that you need to have right now. I had weightlifting shoes of some kind or another that worked just fine, but they were getting old and ratty. And I thought, they'll make it for another month. I'm not using them that often, right? I don't work out in those shoes every day, only if I'm lifting heavy, only if I'm squatting heavy, whatever. So it's just not a super necessity. Okay. So, and so what did I do? I thought to myself, I'm going to wait And at the time I was buying Reebok shoes. And so I thought like, I'm going to go and wait for Reebok's Black Friday sale. And then I'm going to buy then. And it does not matter what ad they were going to show me. I was going to wait to buy until Black Friday. I'd literally written it down in a note on my phone somewhere or in a Asana task or something like that, so that I knew these are a list of things that I wanted to look for on Black Friday. Okay. So the ads that they showed me, the sale ads that they showed me, were not that important. In fact, what would have been the most interesting to me would have been if various brands would have targeted me with evergreen style ads, like more traditional feature and benefit ads, showing me the product and the price leading into Black Friday, getting me to click before Black Friday so that I could think about it. And if I would have clicked on October 20th on a bunch of different brands' weightlifting shoes, I would not have bought. Okay. And if I would have clicked on November 3rd, or let's say, let me just make sure I do my math right here. Let's say November 10th, I still would not have bought. Okay. And I would have waited for the Black Friday sale, because at that point, you might as well just wait and see and compare what is out there. I only need one pair of shoes. Well, if you think about that, that means that the click for the ad, let's say somebody would have convinced me, don't buy Reebok, buy my shoes instead. The click for the ad for that would have been on November 10th, but the purchase, no matter what else they did, based off of the offer that they gave, would have come on Black Friday itself, November 28th or whatever day it happens to fall in a given year, okay? If that's the case, then in my actual bidding, and if that's happening at a lot of scale, and I know for a fact that it is, even if people are launching their sale early, and I made the argument in my previous episode that you should launch your sale early, go one episode back if you did not listen to or watch that episode to hear why I think you should launch your sale early, and why I think there's definitive data to say you should do this at this point, and exactly when to launch it. I have the best answer to that question I've ever heard in my previous episode, so go check that out, okay? But it's literally the episode right before this one. No matter what, if the sale was launched early or not, if I get the click on November 10th, okay, and the purchase on November 28th, then that means on a one-day click basis, I'm going to see 0 ROAS from that customer interaction, okay? But on 28-day click, or whatever, something in if you're using an attribution tool, I don't use attribution tools, but if you're using an attribution tool, it would show up there. I know that there's going to be a purchase there. And if that behavior is happening at scale, and I think it is, then you should expect that for everyone. And a long time ago did a study about this for CTC when I was at Common Thread Collective. And I think the data still holds true, basically, which is that there is an increase in this kind of behavior, that your delayed purchase multiplier, that is the gap between 1-day click and 28-day click, goes up. The purchases in those times goes up. The very simple idea is when you're spending in early November in particular, that money is going to create value at Black Friday, even if you've already launched your sale, and be ready for it, expect it, and probably be a little extra aggressive so that you don't miss out on the volume. That's really the takeaway. Another approach to that is to not be more aggressive about it. You just say, like, I'm just going to take the profit, and that's fine. I think that's fine too. It just depends on your goals and your values, but expect that behavior to happen at scale across the country, all over the place. It is not too late to staff up your business to where it needs to be to maximize not only this holiday season, but the future of your business. And it's not too late to do that while also keeping your OpEx super lean. And you can do that with my friends at More Staffing. You know that I love More Staffing. You've heard me say it a million times. I hope. I have been working with More Staffing in some capacity or another in my business for a very long time. At this point, I am always going deeper with them. I'm always discovering that there's more talent to unlock, and that I am often the bottleneck and the problem with getting the most out of talent in the Philippines from my friends at More Staffing. And it's because I am not thinking about Filipino talent just as VAs. I'm thinking about Filipino talent as serious contributors, real team members with deep professional resumes across the e-commerce landscape. That's in every part of every kind of business that I'm working on, agency side, the brand that I'm working on building, all of it in some way, I'm not kidding, is being done with this mentality that I call Philippines First, which is going and looking and saying, like, okay, where's the opportunity for me to hire amazing talent in the Philippines? And it's so simple. Why? It's because of the reality of global economies, my dollars go extremely far in the Philippines to hire incredible talent in my business. So I can hire great talent, giving great people the best opportunity that is possible for them, while at the same time keeping my OpEx lean. That actually allows me to generate profit, which then allows me to hire more great Filipino talent, grow my business bigger and faster. It is a win for absolutely everybody involved. And more staffing is the key to doing this because they are much more boutique, much more hands-on than other giant staffing agencies in the Philippines. So if you want people with real deep resumes across e-commerce, they can help you find great talent, people from top universities in the Philippines, or who have graduated from top universities, like really good, or people who have had a whole bunch of years of e-commerce experience. In both cases, more staffing can help you find them. I just can't recommend them enough. They will help you identify, recruit, train, onboard, and even provide ongoing coaching. They even give you a 1-year guarantee. So if you hire with them, it doesn't work out for a year, they will replace the talent for free, which is awesome. So morestaffing.co/AF, tell them that I sent you, morestaffing.co/AF. I'm a huge fan of them. Whatever part of the business you are working on, there are people in the Philippines who can help, and More Staffing can help you access them. It is a win-win for everybody. Go get it. Okay, number 5, forecast. Have a daily forecast for spend for your brand or for your clients' brands for this time period in particular. If you know me, you know I'm actually sort of hesitant about daily forecasts. And the reason for that is that I think daily forecasts have some real value. And there's some people who have done a great job of operationalizing that. My friends at Common Thread Collective build that into their sequence. And I think they use a daily forecast very well. But what I see a lot of times for daily forecasts and daily reporting is an extremely inexact science, first of all. And secondly, sometimes daily reporting in particular leads to a sort of daily kind of approach to taking actions in your business that end up sucking up a bunch of your time when you happen to have a random bad day, and that you ought to look at trends on a much larger scale. Nate Legos talks sometimes about this idea that he's thinking about his ad account. He actually actively doesn't want to analyze his ad account based on daily performance because he wants to think bigger about the bigger swings he can take that are actually going to move the brand forward in people's eyes, right? That's a really good way of thinking, I think, about how ads work for brands and how you can make a big impact, which is you want to think at the level of the brand and product and partnerships and collabs and all these kinds of things. And that if you do too much daily stuff, too much daily style thinking, that you'll actually get in the way of taking the actions that are required to push those kinds of larger things through. All of that is my caveat to the thing that I'm going to say here, which is that throw that out the window Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Once you've built all your plans and everything, it actually is really important that you have a daily sense for the entire holiday season, especially for a brand that is more holiday, more seasonal, of how you think this is going to go. Again, this doesn't matter that much if your brand is not going to do like a huge Black Friday, if it's not a big deal for them. And there are brands like that. A lot of supplement brands, for example, just don't really worry about Black Friday quite the same way. But for other brands, you should, if you have some historical data, measure daily, think about what you can a forecast daily, think about it, and then have a daily forecast and daily reporting on like, where are we relative to pace? Do we need to make any changes? Do we need to make any adjustments, etc.? Don't freak out. Don't panic, but at the same time, track things daily. I think it really helps. And then that leads to number 6. We're going to take this to a different level. This has been one of the most helpful things I've done in the last couple of years. And that is for Black Friday and Cyber Monday specifically, don't just forecast daily, forecast hourly. Because again, the revenue patterns on those days are significant and you've only got a day to do this. Now, this is less important on Saturday and Sunday, which are still going to be really big days, but not as big. But Friday and Monday, it's a particularly big deal. And actually, I would say this is most important for Cyber Monday. Monday is often for brands as big, if not bigger, than Black Friday. Like, for me, I'm like a run the same offer all weekend guy, so I'm not changing anything there. But on Cyber Monday, I would think the key thing is that your sale is going to generate a bunch of extra value at the end of the day for 2 reasons. One of them is you'll have increased urgency because Cyber Monday is about to end, so people know the best offers are going away. And secondly, they work on Monday, right? On Friday, it's a holiday, so they purchase a lot early in the morning, and that's the biggest hours of the day are the first bunch of hours in the day. Okay, on Monday, it's the opposite. The most purchase behavior happens in the evening. And that is because people are at work during the day. They come home, they do their Cyber Monday shopping to end. So you get huge hours from like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. or whatever it is. And of course, that's across time zones. So 5 p.m. on the East Coast, it's actually 2 p.m., whatever. You get the idea. So those peak hours are really important. And if you forecast hourly and you look at historical data on this, you should be able to see this and anticipate it, be ready for it. Don't freak out when Cyber Monday looks light in the morning, etc. It really helps, again, to forecast hourly and to keep communicating, especially if you're an agency type person or a freelancer, media buyer, or whatever. Your clients are going to want to know what's going on. Tell them how you're doing. Tell them how you're pacing. Forecasting hourly really helps. All right. Number 7, this is like a little small hack. This applies to operators, media buyers, everybody, but take notes as you go and then put them in a task or a calendar invite or something like that for yourself for September of next year, September 1st of next year. So as you go, observe things, write things down, and then have a note for yourself on September 1st of next year with those notes in it so that you can access your previous brain from that time period. Because it really helps to know that you'll forget a bunch of stuff that happens year over year. This will help set you up for success in the future. You'll make mistakes for sure. You'll have wins for sure. Write down both of them and be ready for them in the future. It's a simple little thing to do, but it really helps you get better at this year over year on kind of every level. And I have a whole bunch of notes from clients that I've had for over a year where it's like, hey, here's what to watch out for. One client of mine actually has a really big Thanksgiving moment specifically. And so I had a note about like, okay, we got to get prepped for Thanksgiving. It's bigger in some ways than Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So there's all that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you've got some kind of brand brain, client brain for future performance. And you want to do that by writing down what's happening as it's going. Give yourself a note for next year. It'll really help. All right, that's all 7 of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to run back through them really fast. Number 1, don't overthink your creative and don't be surprised if your evergreen creative works great. In fact, if it even works better than your sale creative. Number 2, be super careful proactively with budget and bids, with manual bid media buying in particular. If you've listened to my content for a while, you know about that. Again, go follow up on those past episodes that I've got there. Number 3, make sure you're using value optimization and set that value optimization and, for that matter, your highest volume stuff to 1-day click, specifically for your promo ads. Don't leave customers on the table. Number 4, expect more delayed purchase behavior than usual. People are going to click before Black Friday and they're going to buy on Black Friday. It's going to happen at scale across the country. Number 5, forecast daily. Number 6, forecast hourly for Black Friday and Cyber Monday in particular. Number 7, take notes as you go. Give yourself a note for next year. Hopefully that's helpful to you. If you have more thoughts, questions, etc., hit them in the comments. I'm thinking about doing a Black Friday AMA episode if I get enough questions. So you can also email me at podcast@ajfgrowth.com. I'd love to be. I'm sure I forgot things. I'm sure there's specific things for your brand that do apply to other people. Let's get to them. Put them in the comments. Like I said, email me and let's get to them. All right. Thanks so much. Hopefully that was helpful. Huge thanks to you for watching or listening to that episode. Again, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. I sound ridiculous saying smash that subscribe button. That's what like YouTube influencers say though, right? So I'm supposed to say that. I should be better at this. Anyway, subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Don't miss out on any episodes. I got a bunch of great interviews coming up. I lined up a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff. So you're not going to want to miss those. Should I tell you about them? Brian Porter from Simple Modern. He's coming soon. He's got a really great story about raising his AOV. That's interesting. Eric Van Holtz from Beard Brand. They struggled. They're doing better. Maybe. Can talk to you about that. I've got Drew Fallon from Iris with some really cool information. Great finance thinker. Bunch of stuff. You get the idea. There's good episodes. They're coming. Subscribe. Don't miss them. Big thanks to More Staffing. You know I love More Staffing. morestaffing.co/AF to get going with great talent in the Philippines for your e-commerce business today. And my friends at FERMAT, FERMAT Commerce, to look at really fully, deeply, seriously customized funnels. Make funnels the way you make ads. They're great. And then go to my website, ajfgrowth.com. Fill out the intake form if you're interested in working with me, whether it's this year or next year, whatever. Would love to talk to you about that, get some conversation going. If I can't work with you, I might have a great recommendation for you for somebody who can. We're not growing too fast at AJF Growth, but we're growing some. So let's get a conversation started. Thanks so much for watching or listening. Like I said, I really appreciate your time. I'll see you soon.